Hello and welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. My name's Shane. As always, I'm here with Fox.
Howdy. I always greet the camera now that it's here in the room.
You got to, dude.
I have
you
to.
Got to.
I can't ignore it.
No, of course not.
But
it's just staring at us the whole time.
It's just a little bonus for the video watchers that the audio listeners don't get. They don't see my little nod. They might hear it though.
Yeah. Now today, we want to know, how expensive is Warhammer or wargaming really?
Yes. How expensive is wargaming? I don't know.
We've just done research for days, but who knows?
Yeah, I got no idea. Yeah, we're going to cover, we're going to break down sort of like different war games, how much it costs to sort of get into them. We're even going to give you like a little, what it would cost you weekly to be in that war game.
Oh, I forgot to do that part.
Did you?
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to be doing that then. For me, it just helps my brain when I hear something cost X amount a week. I'm like, oh, that's the price of a Carlton Dry.
Yeah.
Or a Carlton Dry slab a week.
Yeah.
You know, depending on the hobby.
Jesus, okay.
Some are expensive, man.
True. That's very true.
So I'll be doing that for some of mine. And then at the end, we'll talk about other hobbies that aren't wargaming and the costs of those. And so by the end of this episode, hopefully you get a good idea of if wargaming is actually expensive.
Yeah.
And if so, how much?
That's it. Maybe we can do some quick math on the fly. Get the old calculator out while I'm rounding off these numbers.
I mean, we got 3 computers, 3 phones, 2 beers. I'm sure we can figure it out.
There's an iPad up there.
Oh, yeah. What is that doing up there?
I charge it. Never mind.
Anyways, look, if you're new here, we're more than just a podcast. We do 2 giveaways every month. We have painting competitions all year round. And we got a Discord where we do things like hobby hangouts, RPGs, things of that nature. But we'll talk about all that at the end.
Yep.
I want to know, Shane, what is the first war game you've picked, and how expensive is the bish?
All right, so the first one I went with is, the one that everybody knows, Warhammer 40k.
Star Wars League. Oh, okay. Warhammer 40k. Oh, there you go.
So I went with a casual play 40k kind of thing, like basically almost the bare minimum you need to start rolling dice with a mate. So
this is like entry level.
Yep.
I've never touched hobby before.
It's pretty much.
How much will I have to spend to get into it?
It's a little bit more than like buying the Elite Edition box or a Recruit box and splitting it.
Yeah,
it's a bit more than that, but it's basically that.
Yeah, okay. Is
now
it basically that?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, so $60, $120 weekly. That kind of, yeah, all right.
Nah, so I obviously there's so many ways to getting into 40k nowadays. They've made it really easy with start collecting boxes, Command, Elite, Recruit boxes. There's, I call them the multiple army boxes or battle boxes where they come and go. Like the Sisters of Battle one just recently, Piety and Pain.
Yeah.
Tooth and Claw, Gene Steel Occult Space. Like those kind of ones that just come in and come out as per thing. Basic start collecting boxes will cost you around the 165 Australian dollars.
Yes.
Which are slowly being phased out by the Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol boxes, which are about 230 Australian.
And so, when you jump in, you recommend that's a good place to start. You get a little bit of.
I feel you get a bit of everything. You might get a couple of 5 or 10 troops, a vehicle, a character, maybe some beasts, depending on what you're playing. Obviously, some big monsters if you're playing Tyranids or whatever. Yeah. It's sort of a good variety, I feel, but. To get the sort of the basic entry level, I've just added a few of those together.
Okay.
So basically, I don't know how I should really put this. Starter.
It's
set,
a lot. Nah.
The starter set for the Elite box.
Okay.
$120 Australian.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's 120.
Chop that in half.
Chop it in half because you're sharing it with a mate.
Yeah, pretty much.
$60.
Command box is $230, which includes a couple of armies, terrain, the rule book, which is one big thing that you actually need. You can get the free core rules, but I think to play it in its entirety, you need that core rule book.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like that is the best entry point into 40k.
Is that command box? Command
box, yeah.
And did you say recruit as well?
Just the command box.
Oh,
alone.
just the command.
Yeah. So chop that in half.
Yeah.
You and your mate now share custody of the terrain and the rulebook.
Yeah.
But in there you get some dice, you get some range measuring sticks.
Yeah.
Terrain, everything else you need, data sheets and models.
And there's rules in that box too, I think, just to play with the models in that box.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's special ones.
Yeah. So into by codexes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if the rulebook alone is $110. So if you were to buy a Start Collecting box and the rulebook, straight up, you know, you're already at $275.
Wow. Okay.
And then that's So cheapest entry point I could sort of put together, which I assume that you've got a tape measure and dice.
Yeah.
You know, maybe raid the Monopoly box and take the dice from that. Go in the shed, take mum or dad's tape measure or your own, depending how old you are.
Yeah.
As long as it's got inches on it, you're laughing.
Yeah.
So I went with a Space Marine Start Collecting box, which is 510 points for the Vanguard box.
Yeah.
$165.
Okay.
Right. It's 500 points, pretty good.
Yep.
And the Space Marine half of the Command box.
Yep.
Which is 335 points. If you went 115 Australian.
Yep.
So right now you're up to $280 and you've got 845 points of models.
Cool.
You and your friend would share custody of everything.
Yep.
And so ideally you also need to purchase a codex.
Yep.
For those models in the Start Collecting box.
Yep.
It's another $80. You're up to 360.
Okay.
So 360. You and your mate both spend 360.
Yep.
You're pretty much ready to go. You need clippers, glue, paints, brushes, all that sort of stuff. I just wanted to get the best way to get the models and get playing.
Well, it's funny you say that. In my little calculations, I did a similar thing, but I've calculated hobby fees.
Oh, okay.
So this is the extra amount on top of the prices we mentioned here.
Yep.
So if you're listening to a hobby podcast, you're probably in hobby. Mm-hmm. So we've assumed you probably have the basic tools of paints, clippers, whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe you're not. Maybe you've stumbled upon this and you're like, I'm interested in getting into hobby.
Yep.
Well, whatever prices we mentioned for the war game itself, you can add $200.
Okay. Yep.
And that 200 is because I got a little breakdown. So clippers, glue, and a hobby knife, which are the big three.
Yep.
Clippers, glue, hobby knife.
Yep.
$50.
Okay. Yep.
You're going to be looking at $100 of paints.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bare minimum.
Yep.
That's minimum. Because your primer can is probably going to be $20.
Yep.
If you want a rattle primer. You're going to need a wash, which is like $10.
Yep.
You know?
And then each paint's like $5 each.
Yeah.
And you probably want a variety of colours too.
Yeah.
Not just 5 colours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You'll at least want white, black.
Yep.
And whatever other colour you want.
Yeah, yeah. If you're painting Blood Angels, you get a couple of reds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You might even get a second spray can if you've got a dominant primary colour.
Yep.
So that's another $20, and then you got $60 for paints.
So
anyways.
$200, hobby fees.
Hobby fees.
Okay.
Basing, I also part included $50 in that.
Okay.
Because PVA is usually like $15 for a good tub.
Yeah.
And that's assuming you want... you can just find shit outside.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And put that on a base. But yeah, hobby fees are $200 roughly.
Yeah.
On top of whatever war games we say.
Yeah, yeah. But if you've got a mate and you're not interested in painting, you just want to play, your mate already, or you know someone at the local hobby shop, he's like, yeah, man, I'll give you some glue and some clippers. You're laughing, really.
Done.
You're laughing. So I worked it out to be, so 360 would get you 845 points of Space Marines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost enough for a 1,000-point game. You and your mate could play 845-point games.
Yes, but just throwing dice at each other.
Yeah,
that's all you want. You might not want to play competitively.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You might just go, let's do roughly. You might just use power levels as well.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
There's a few things within 40k that helps people not playing competitively play the game. You can play at 500 points, 1,000 and 2,000, and they've made almost game modes for those point levels.
Yeah.
But you've also got power, which is just a nice, simple way to throw models on the table.
Yeah, you're not sort of going by each grain and picking weapons that cost 2 points and 5 points, and it's just like this model with any weapon is worth this much.
Yeah.
So a good way for people getting into not really balanced, but it's a good way for new people to get into the game.
So you reckon someone goes in with $400 and get themselves roughly 900 points of Space Marines? Specifically,
this does involve going Harveys with someone in that box.
Does or doesn't?
It does.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So it sort of assumes that you might know someone even online. People split them and sell them.
Yeah.
But you'll get half of the command box.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's the low end.
That's the low end. Yeah. I didn't even come to 1,000 points, and you've gone up to 2,000.
I have. Yeah. Because all competitive games of Warhammer 40k are done at 2,000 points.
Yep.
You may find little tournaments that do 1,000 points, but when we're talking competitive Warhammer 40k, we're talking 2k. 2k, 40k.
2k.
That's not confusing at all. So I went to the most expensive extreme.
Okay.
Competitive Warhammer 40k. I was like, I want to know how much this would cost. If someone, maybe they'd been playing trading cards or something their whole life,
yep.
TCGs, or they've been doing something else competitively, playing StarCraft on your computer, and they're like,
yep.
I've been looking at this wargaming thing. I know 40k is the big dog on the street.
Yep.
It's the war game in terms of competitive scene.
Yep.
I want to walk into a store and I want to get all my stuff and I want to play that. Well, my friend, you're fucked. Nah, it's not so bad. So I did a little breakdown, and some important things to note is... Actually, no, they're not. That's another topic in and of itself.
Okay.
If you wanted to buy just the models
yep.
of a competitive 40k list, you're looking at $1,100 to $1,200.
Okay.
And I'm confident in that price. Obviously, there's extremities.
Yep.
That's not the word.
Variables?
Outliers.
Outliers?
That's the one.
Yep.
These are extremities.
Extremities.
There are extremities, and you need those to play, although maybe you don't. You can go into a store for $1,100, $1,200, buy everything you need.
Yeah.
That's calculated off 8 different competitive lists.
Okay.
All fell within that range.
Yeah, right, okay.
But yes, there are variables. You can buy some lists for $500.
Yep.
Some are going to cost you $4,000.
Yep.
Looking at you, Deathcore. So, of Krieg.
Okay. Deathcore?
Yeah. The D-cock.
Yeah.
The DKOK.
Yep.
Anything from Forge World, really. That ups the price. So you're looking at about, let's say $1,100 for your army. You want to get the big rule book, which is $110.
Yep.
Because
that
maybe
was dear. I'm like,
so dear.
I'm like, oh, it's $80. I'm like, hang on, I just like look it up. I'm like,
110.
110. I was like,
why do we feel like it was?
What?
We both thought it was $80.
It used to be, I think. Maybe 8th edition was $80.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Mm.
So the big rule book is 110. Your codex is 70. And this is where it gets a little bit spicy. These are the little extras that you don't really realize. Supplement $70.
Yeah.
Because let's say you're playing Thousand Suns, or let's say you're playing Custodes. Something you might need War of the Spider Psychic Awakening.
Yep.
For example. That's $70. You need the chapter approved field manual to make sure you got the most updated points. These are required usually at a tournament too, so that's another $70.
Yep.
And most of these lists had at least one Forge World unit. So I'm using my example is based around a Custodes list, because I actually thought Custodes, would be one of the cheaper armies.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Incorrect.
No.
$1,150 $1
Yep.
Australian. So what's US? Like 70% of that? Anyway.
Something like that.
Anyway, so you'll also need the Imperial Armor Compendium for your Forge World rules.
For your Forge World tanks.
Another 110.
Or is it just any Forge World?
Don't really know.
You need it though.
You need it.
You need it.
This guy needed it. You'll need it too. He came first though. So this is a big boy list.
Oh, okay.
And this was this month. So
yeah, right.
In WA.
Yep.
So that was $450 for all those books.
Wow.
So
you haven't even bought models yet.
Yeah, so $450 on top of your $1,100.
Yep.
You're looking at $1,550. I said the grand total was around $1,650 by the time you got playing accessories, tournament fees, all those extra stuff.
Yeah.
Or $1,800 if you've got a slightly top end expensive list. And you haven't painted those yet, by the way.
No.
Add another $200 for your hobby fees.
Yep.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So you could say, start to finish, if you had nothing, $2,000 on the nose. And that's how much competitive Warhammer 40k will cost.
Wow. $2,000.
Immediately. That's how much it will cost you straight away.
Yeah.
Competitive 40k has the same loop, the same hole, the same vicious cycle that
card games
have. And that's meta and meta chasing. You can expect to spend 60% of your total army cost over that next year again.
Wow.
Changing your army.
Yep.
That's super rough. That's absolutely super rough. For example, a Tyranids list from 6 months ago. Yep. That was using that example. Obviously, when there were some Forge World changes and the big unit, the Damericon, or however 70 different people want to say it, became more prevalent, so people had to buy those, and then that changed the cost of the list. But yeah, meta chasing is the expensive part of competitive 40k. That's the long-term costs. But going off that $2,000 initial buyout, if you spread that over a year, that's $35 a week.
Nice.
So
not bad.
That's what we tell ourselves. That's what we tell ourselves. It's not. And this is why the weekly cost kind of helps me as well. I can go, what do I spend money on? Well, if netball I do twice a week, that costs me $25 for both.
Yep.
I could cut that out, and I can almost afford Warhammer.
You can afford a Custodes army. Dude.
Yeah, there you go. Almost.
I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to find a calculator so I can quickly do some quick math online.
Don't do it on how much you've spent.
No.
Here's an interesting thing I've added to all mine. How much roughly I've spent on all of them. On all my war games. The only thing I couldn't do it on was Warhammer 40k because A, I didn't want to, and B, I have no idea how much I've spent.
I wouldn't even try and
$10,000?
figure it out. It has to be. Yeah.
Each?
Yeah. Well, I got 3 Lehman Russes right there. Well, they're the boxes over there. The tanks
are
over there.
You have the built models there and you pointed to the boxes. They can't
the boxes
see.
Look better.
yeah, fair.
And there's... what are they worth? $80 each or something like that?
83, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like 240, 250, yeah.
Yep.
I don't want to figure it. So mine, over a year, is $6.92.
Okay, so on the low end, spending like $7 a week.
So what's that? That's one of your fancy coffees.
I don't spend $7 on a coffee, dude. It's 1.5 fancy coffees.
Okay.
It's one of your Rockstar energy drinks, man.
Hey, they're $4.50, alright?
So is my coffee. All right. So that's the big end of wargaming.
Yeah.
If you want to just roll some dice
in
Warhammer, you don't really care about competitive play or jumping in tournaments. You and your mate just want to get into it.
Yep. Yeah.
This $7 a week.
It's the way to go, really.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Unless you're like me and like I don't even get out of bed for less than 2,000 points. In which case, $35 a week. So that's a great starting point because it will put everything else into perspective. I guess.
I think it will.
What other games you got?
Yeah, so the other game I picked was Bolt Action. So this is something I'm not familiar with, really. I've looked at it. I've drooled over it a lot. And
drooling over something is free.
It is. You can just stare at that screen all night if you want to.
So far, $0 a week for the old Bolt Action.
I don't really know much about building lists. Of course, there's a meta and all that sort of stuff. But this is the same way as the 40k. Basically, how much do I need to spend to start playing the game?
Yeah.
Looking it up, it looks like they use points as well. And 1,000 points is one of their sort of like standard games.
Okay.
Might not be tournament size, may just be entry. I don't really know. If you guys know and you're in the Discord, let us know. If you're watching on YouTube, leave in the comments. Tell me how to play Bolt Action, please.
He only needs one more little like what do you call it, hair drop on the needle stack. It's gonna topple over.
Yeah. The straw that broke the camel's back. Maybe your comment.
And your back.
And my back. And my wallet. So starter armies online in Australia, $225.
Okay.
1,000 points.
All right.
Don't know what that includes, but that's a starter. They call it starter armies. That's like their box set ready to go.
Cool.
One army.
I like that it's ready to go.
Yeah.
I like that it's not. Hey, here's 20% of the expected points value of a game.
Yeah.
Like a lot of systems
like
do.
Like the start collecting boxes are 40k.
Yeah. Exactly. I wish they were 20% of an army.
True.
That'd be sweet.
True. Now you need terrain. There's really only you can buy MDF terrain from different companies. All kinds of laser cutting companies out there that put it all together. Couple $100 probably to get a good table worth of terrain.
Yeah. That's good too. Maybe moving forward we can use that rule as well.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have it, because terrain's going to be so different for every game. I didn't include it in my thing.
Yeah.
I assume that either you're playing at a mate who has terrain or a hobby shop that has terrain.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you do need to go out and buy it, it's probably $200. Is probably a good little.
Yeah.
You can probably go to the hardware and get a bunch of stuff for that, make your own.
Oh, yeah. You can do what we did. We just use, like, aquarium rocks to start with.
Yeah.
And cans and books and all that sort of crap. But if you want the good-looking stuff, couple $100.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
So you put all the hobby fees and then the terrain fees.
Yeah.
That's $400 itself. You haven't even played a single game of anything.
No. God, no.
But those things, you truly only have to really buy once.
Yeah.
Depending on the terrain.
Yeah.
You could use sci-fi terrain for a myriad of games.
You can, that's right. But then when you play Bolt Action, if you want it to look accurate, you got to use European stuff or
another
depending
$200
on whereabouts and what two you're playing. But
yeah.
So there's another way. There is a starter edition they make. Okay. So it's a second edition of Bolt Action. Includes 2 armies, Germans and Allies.
Yep.
German army. Wow.
That's amazing.
The German army.
You've done it twice in 2 weeks. First it was yeah. And you both times you tried to say it a second time and fucked that up as well.
I just need to stop.
So the word of the week.
Compose myself.
Is,
what was it? No, I'm not even.
I don't even remember what it was. Meme that. Clip that, Churchy. Meme that. What was it? Yummy?
German.
German. What
German
the word,
army.
Germani. Gorlami.
The German army includes 12 grenadiers and 1 half-track. And the Allies army includes 24 airborne infantry.
Doesn't sound like a lot.
No, it's not. That I don't think is even half of 1,000 points.
Okay.
That's like the starter edition box.
So that's like just if you wanted a sample.
Yep.
You wanted to dip your toes.
Yeah.
How much was that?
175 Australian.
Okay. So if you knew you were going to get into it and play it, why not spend an extra $60 or whatever it was?
But then you only get 1 army. So if you went Harvey's in a mate with this, you know, a lot of these, the best way to get into it really is splitting these entry boxes.
Yeah.
You know, and in that box you also get terrain, the rule book, a quick start book, dice, markers, tokens, all that kind of crap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to buy a full size army, what was it again? Did you say 250?
225.
225
for 1,000 points.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting you say that.
Mm.
Because I did a few smaller war games.
Yep.
And that's what there's obviously full scale war games.
Oh yeah.
Like 40k.
Yep.
Which require literal armies.
Yep.
On a big 6x4 or 5x3.5.
Whatever the new size is now. Yeah.
And like hundreds of models. Unless you're custodians, in which case, tens of models. But then the rest of the ones I talk about are the smaller scale, skirmish-sized games. So they're inherently going to be cheaper, but we want to give people a picture of, when we talk war games and expense, there's these skirmish games and then there's these large-scale war games.
Yeah, yep.
And that, obviously, 235 is for your smaller scale.
That's right, yeah. Yeah,
it's probably medium scale. Do you reckon? So it sits halfway between.
I really should have looked into it more. I would love to have known how big an army is, and all that sort of stuff. But that was to start playing the game. Whether it's a quarter of the size of a normal army, half the size, it's enough to throw dice, man.
Totally. Which is a great follow-in to my next game, which I'm looking for but isn't here. Armada.
Armada, yes.
By Mantic Games, Kings of War Armada.
Yep.
It's a little fantasy pirate ship seafaring game which they just released.
Flyers. Oh my god, we've got to talk about that later on.
Let's talk about that. I have so many thoughts. So Armada, you got a few ways. Again, you can split the box like we did. There's a starter box. Has all you need: tokens, a mat, cardboard islands, all the standard starter stuff. The rule book.
Yep. Oh, the one thing that you need.
Yeah. The rule book. You need it.
Yep.
And it also comes with 4 of each ships, which is roughly 100 points for ships. That's not enough to play your full-size game.
What is a full-size game?
200 points.
200. Okay. Yeah.
I think they'll eventually move into larger things.
Yep.
Larger size, 300 points. I mean, you can play whatever size you want. It's one of those games.
Yeah.
But typically, it looks like most tournaments have said 200.
Yep.
That's the standard. Because they can run quick, nice little games, but it's still bigger than you. Yeah, anyways. 200 points.
Yep, 200 points, yep.
So you'd have to buy the starter set, which is 150.
Yep.
Which you'll find most starter sets are around that price. So split it with mate, $75.
Yep.
Then you'll need to buy an extra thing of ships.
Yep.
A booster, so maybe $60.
Yep.
So then you're at 135 and you can play a full-size game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty nice. But then you're only limited to one of the 2 fleets that are in that starter set.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you're like me and fell in love with dwarves randomly, because when it first came out, I was like, that is the worst looking army. I'll never play them.
Yeah.
And now I got a lot of them.
It's what you want. Yeah.
You would need to buy probably two booster boxes.
Yep.
And the rule book. So you're looking at around $200.
Okay.
You might need 3, which would be 180. I would say the average price of playing that game, full size 200 points, is $200.
Yeah.
which is funny because yours came to $235, and I noticed a lot of my games, spoiler, comes to around that $200 mark for those small scale games.
Yeah, yep.
And that's pretty good. Again, add $200 for your paints, which for these smaller games is doubling the price.
Oh, yeah. But if you already play one of these games, then you can share that cost across these different factions.
Yeah.
You know, if you were to, like, allocate costs, all these different things, split it all up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it makes everything relatively, really not cheaper, but you're utilizing the same tools and the same things.
Yep. And something I said I'd do for all these games.
Yep.
$3.75 a week.
Oh, right, okay.
That's nothing.
That is, yeah.
What is that, like a Red Bull?
Yeah.
Can of Coke?
Yep.
Postage of a $3 coin? I don't know.
What?
I don't know. $3.75 a week for that. So those are good. That's a real good price.
Yeah.
That's one you can tell the significant other about.
Yep.
It's only $3 a week.
Yeah.
You know, it gets smaller every time.
Yeah.
For like $2.99. Now,
$175.
This I was able to calculate quite easily.
Yep.
I've spent $315 on this $200 game.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. I usually get into war games
you've
pretty
got
hard.
two fleets.
Yeah. Well, I got one full fleet in the starter.
Yeah.
Starter fleet for the other ones. So, and not to mention my full fleet are big boys.
Yeah.
Like I've got like 14 ships.
Wow.
Of the required 8.
Yep.
So I've got options there.
Are they all painted?
God no, half of them. A full size army.
Yeah. I knew you painted a few. I wasn't sure if you bought all of them though.
I thought that was banter. I was like, that's a small chair you're trying to sit on there. How many have you painted of your 4 starting ships, Shane?
Yeah, I'm not hating on you, dude.
No, good.
One.
Good.
One, okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2. Wow. That's a lot of grey out there.
Have you based any of yours?
Come on, man.
Okay, God damn.
Sorry, I was busy painting. Yeah. So that's a good one. Roughly $200 for Armada.
Yep.
And that's any fleet you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to stick to the rulebook one. Starter set. Those will be cheaper, but.
Yep.
What else you got?
Well, that's all the war games that I got.
Oh, well then I got one more.
You got one more? Yeah, do it, dude.
Because I said, spoilers.
Yep.
I've got 2 more, but I'm not going to talk about them as in depth because they're both roughly $200. We got Test of Honor.
Yep. Japanese samurai
feudal skirmish game.
Yep.
You play as samurai and Ashigaru.
Which we've got a Journey Into series on, so check that out if you're interested in any of Japanese stuff.
Yeah. Do it. I just laughed because I wanted to say something, but I'm not going to spoil it. So, for this doesn't have a starter set.
When are you spoiling it? And who are you spoiling?
To myself.
Okay.
Whatever the vision I have in my head for how I present the information, I don't want to spoil it for myself.
Okay. All right.
This is for me. This episode is for me.
True.
Test of Honor.
Yep.
Again, you can't buy a starter set. You can't split it with a mate.
No.
But I almost like that when I'm trying to get into a game. Sometimes I just want the rule book and I want to pick what I want.
Yep.
But the reason I think I don't know, but it doesn't have a starter set because it doesn't have factions. Yep. Any of the minis on the website or any feudal Japanese era minis you own that are 28mm roughly, you can throw on the table and play.
Okay.
The gaming set for this cost, I didn't write it down. I think like $80.
Yeah.
Rulebook, tokens, everything that you would get in a starter.
Yep.
And then...
Which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Because like good. 110 from Games Workshop, you don't get any tokens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fat, war thick...
True.
Car of a rule book.
True.
It's just a little... In fact...
Never heard of a book described as a car before, but...
Well, this is the Test of Honor 2nd edition rule book.
Thin boy.
It's a thin boy, but it's chock full of... Oh, it doesn't need lore because it's based around a historical era, roughly.
It's all out there.
It's on Wikipedia, so you can get the lore on Wikipedia. But it's got all your standard battles and everything you need.
Yeah.
Pretty intuitive rule book too. We used it the other day.
Yeah, great.
But this is an ad for Test of Honor, like every other episode we've ever done. The gaming set, which is this and a bunch of stuff, cards, tokens, and this the temple guard, the monks, the warrior monks, they're $55. It's about $200 by the time you get it posted here.
Okay.
It's actually $150 and then postage is $50.
Yeah, postage is brutal from the UK.
It is, and delays and because we're in Australia.
Yeah.
So another game that came to $200.
Yep.
How much have I spent? You ask. $1,400
on Test of Honor.
Kind of. I've spent $700 on pure Test of Honor.
Okay.
Which includes all the terrain, because it's pretty specific.
Did you include commission painting in that price?
I did.
You can't do that, dude.
Okay, all right. In that case, it's only $700. But if you were to get into it and you're not a psychopath like me and don't love Japan, it's about $4 a week, $200.
Yeah.
And Infinity, roughly, which is something I'm just getting into now.
Oh, you're hyped on Infinity, dude.
Loving it. Absolutely loving it. I tried to pace myself. Didn't happen.
No.
But for a normal person, about $200.
Yeah.
You get your action pack. All the rules are free.
Action pack.
That's what their starter pack, like.
That's what they call it.
Faction-specific action pack.
They call it an action pack?
Well, it's a pack, and it's packed full of action. So what else would you call it?
That sounds like something from the 90s. I don't know why, but that's the vibes I'm getting. Action pack.
Well, it's, yeah. Just like this episode, it's action-packed. And yeah, so an action pack.
Yep.
Plus, you would need a couple more models.
Yeah.
They're all pewter, white metal.
Mm-hmm.
They're beautiful. Again, $200, $4 a week, whatever that works out to be.
Yep.
But again, I can't stress this enough. The rules are free, Shane. The rule book is free.
Yeah.
And the list builder is free.
That's pretty good. You don't get that often.
No.
Wait, ever?
Yeah.
Ever? No, ever.
Like, yeah, Age of Sigmar has War Scrolls for free, but there's some of the content.
Everything's hidden behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Like, really. Like Games Workshop trying to do the same thing with 40k.
Did they?
Like they.
The core rules
the core rules are free. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of other games, not many do that as in the purest form, like Infinity has. But again, I guess it's more expensive because it's $200 and all the rules are free. Like if that was any other game. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
They use all metal models. Is probably the difference. So.
Yeah.
$200 for a small scale game of your choosing.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
$4 a week. Sacrifice a coffee. And I guess sacrifice a child in Africa, because I think that costs the same, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
For a cup of coffee a week, you can save someone.
Yep.
Maybe do that first.
So
Or a war game. Sneaky little war game, unless. Why not both?
True.
So,
yep.
What does all this look like next to weird abstract hobbies?
You're calling my hobbies weird and abstract?
I don't know what they are. I hope they are. Maybe they're not.
Not so weird and abstract.
Okay.
The first hobby that I've picked is fly fishing.
Oh, yeah. That's reasonably abstract.
Is it, though? I mean, it's not normal fishing.
I'm curious, if anyone's listening still, I want to know in the Discord or the YouTube comments, do you know a single soul that fly fishes?
I know 3.
I'm not talking to you, Shane. Oh. You never listen to
I'll
these
leave
episodes.
A comment. Yeah, leave a comment.
I know 3. Shane. All right. I want to know about like the real people with like real lives. Do they know anyone? Okay. Tell me about the cost of fly fishing,
Again,
Shane.
Basic entry.
Okay.
Now, this hobby and my other hobby, there are absolute, bargain basement prices to get into it. But I've gone with something that's still entry level, but it's not just pure garbage.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like a stick with a string tied to the end of it.
Yeah.
Totally. Or something you get from China, which will break in like 5 minutes.
It's actually a good point you mentioned, because most of what we did for war games is in that same vein.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You can buy secondhand models.
Oh yeah, or recasts, or no.
Never commit a crime.
You wouldn't steal a car.
You wouldn't download a handbag. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, obviously there's cheaper entry points.
Yeah.
But we're talking about like going to a store.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buying an actual product with plastic around it, maybe.
That's right. Yeah, it's wrapped in shrimp wrap. Yeah. Yeah. So, basic, reliable rod and reel combo. That's set you back $299.
That's
that,
the entry.
You'll get an 8 foot 6-inch 4-piece rod.
$300 for 8 inches, not bad.
8 feet, my friend.
What did I say?
8 inches.
That's a tiny rod. 8 foot, bigger than my 6x4 gaming table.
Absolutely.
Which I don't own. This is yours, so.
Yes, it is. So that's your rod and reel combo.
Yeah.
If you were to buy a rod on its own, $250.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously do the combo, get the reel for $50.
Yeah, and the reel, an Eden TD reel, $120.
Oh, those
Australian.
Eden
reels. TD, yep.
Yeah,
and
expensive.
line, the Scientific Angler's Spey line is going to cost you $90 for 30 meters.
Is that like a cheap one?
That's one of the cheapest. Yeah, it's not the cheapest, but it's like
it's what you would
down
buy.
the end. Yeah. So already we got to $460. You haven't even got your line wet yet. Yeah, you know. You need flies.
Huh?
You need flies.
What do you mean, flies?
Flies for fly fishing. You're not fishing for flies. You're using flies to catch fish.
I just thought it was the way that, like, the line went, like it flies through the sky.
No.
You actually use flies.
The hook is a little fake fly.
Oh, thank God. No,
and it sits
no flies were harmed in the making of this sport.
No, just fish.
Yeah. What do you mean? I thought it was called fishing hypothetically. Okay.
Yeah, so you need flies. So flies, trout flies, $4 each. $3.95. Right?
Okay.
And you want
each. But it's like you reuse it.
It's like you reuse it. Yeah. Okay. So ideally, you probably get 10. Like you wouldn't just buy one and then walk out of the shop, right?
It's like a paint. You're not gonna go buy red.
Exactly.
Gonna buy all 7 reds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get 10. So you get $40 there. Tin, a fly tin. So you need somewhere to keep the flies, right? You can't just have them in your pocket because they've got hooks in them.
Ah, I was gonna say why not? They're not real flies. They're not gonna fly away out of your pocket.
No, but they'll just stab you in the leg.
Okay.
So you need a little tin to keep them in. $40 for a special fly tin with little spaces. Sure, you can buy a plastic Tupperware container.
I was going to say a tackle box, yeah.
Or that.
Like $12.
I mean...
They changed the prices, though, and I don't want you to recalculate. So, yeah, for the sake of the argument...
Recalculating?
You can't do it. You can't even say Games Workshop. Or Germany.
Hey. Talking? No good. Quick math? I'm all right.
Glad we started the podcast.
So you still need to buy tools, knives, tackle boxes, and all that sort of stuff. So I've allowed another $200 for that minimum, right? That's your What'd you call it? You called it a hobby fee. That's a fishing fee.
Okay.
And you need a fishing license.
Jesus. Okay.
So that's going to cost you another $80 a year.
Okay.
I didn't count that into the price.
Yeah.
But basically, you're looking at $540 before you can even think about start going fishing. I don't even know. So $540 plus another $200, which I didn't account for.
Okay.
So $740.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much ready to go. You haven't got waders or boots or any that gear. So you're basically standing on the rocks fishing. Yeah, you're not in the river.
Yeah. Dip your toes in. Well, not actually, but to dip your toes in.
Yeah. You need waders.
Sport. Well, no. You can stand on the rock
and metaphorically dip your toes in?
Yeah.
$700, I'd say, will get you everything you need to fly fish.
So I chose between Test of Honor and fly fishing.
Yep.
I'm happy with my choice.
Are you there?
To be honest. I mean, I don't have to commission paint rods.
No.
But I mean, I can paint my own minis
and
if I wanted
Test
to save
of Honor
costs.
doesn't bring dinner home.
I'm terrible at fishing. You know what? No, let's be honest. Neither does fly fishing. Half the shit you catch, like, you might bring dinner home like twice a week, and then the wife's going to be like, can we stop eating fish? So, sorry. The significant other... I can only portray through my own experiences.
You're projecting.
Yeah, I'm projecting.
Yeah.
Can we stop eating fish? I'll be like, I bought it. It's the first time this month.
It's got omega-3. It's good for you.
It's good for you.
Yeah. That's what they tell us. But now you're telling them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fly.
No.
It doesn't fly.
Doesn't fly fish?
It doesn't fly fish.
Yeah.
So 700.
700. I'd say that would get you fly fishing. You probably could get in there for $500, but to get everything, at a reasonable sort of rate.
Yeah.
Good quality gear. Be all booked up, ready to go. I'm going to say $700.
Which is about $14 a week.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, it's a gym membership.
Yeah, it is.
Don't go to the gym.
Yeah, just fish.
Fish. I mean, it's a lot of...
Yeah, a lot of upper body.
Yeah. Giant, huge arms.
You're skipping leg day every day, though.
I mean, doesn't everyone at the gym anyways?
I suppose so.
You're basically doing a gym workout. Verbatim. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yep.
Fly fishing.
Yep.
I like it, dude. Never going to do it because I chose Test of Honor and I'm happy with my choice.
I had... I basically did what you do when you're looking at any miniature wargame website. I had so much stuff in my cart after looking at this.
Did you? Yeah. This strikes
and they take Afterpay too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
No, but I've been
podcast going to have to make some cuts. Is that why Churchy's not here?
That's why Churchy's not here today. Yeah.
We've lost our video and audio editor because you chose fly fishing.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I don't go back. Yeah.
We learned how to press all the buttons. I mean, this might not even be recording.
I hope it's recording.
40 minutes of just... I mean, this is exactly what we'd be doing otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well...
Hit me with yours, dude. What was your
My first
hobby?
one is prospecting.
Prospecting.
I only knew this existed because one of my mates does it.
Yep.
And I was very interested in it. And I wanted to know what the costs involved were because this particular mate rags on me for my Warhammer purchases.
Yeah. Now, prospecting is looking for gold, right?
Yeah, effectively. It's quite a broad, because people do it in so many different ways.
River panning or metal detecting,
Yeah, so I'm talking specifically about the people that will... I mean, there is a few different ways, and I did prices for both, but the problem is detecting itself, which is where you go around with your little beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, and you find, aluminium and nails and fucking... Yeah.
So some people will just find, and they'll dig up stuff, and maybe once a year they'll find a relic that will keep them going for the next year. They're gambling. They're ground gambling.
Yeah.
It's a loot box, but the loot box is the ground. It's the earth that we live in. A low-end detector, $500.
Yeah.
A not even top-end, but I would say close to the top-end detector, $10,000.
Yeah.
And so obviously, it's funny because they all prospectors will tell you the same thing. Yeah, but eventually, it pays for itself. Right?
Fly fishing was the same. You could get rods for like $1,500.
Yeah,
you know,
and they're like, it pays for itself in fish.
Yeah. It's a lot of fish.
First of all, anything you find when you're prospecting goes in the cabinet. Like when we finish painting a mini.
Exactly.
We're not going to sell the bish.
No.
We're not commissioned painters.
No.
It sits there to say, look what I did.
Yeah.
My hobby was worth it.
Yeah.
They do the same. My mate does the same. Anytime he finds a picker, which is basically any flake of gold big enough to be able to actually pick up.
That's a picker.
That's a picker right there. Oh my gosh, Grand Tootin', I got a picker. If they find a picker, it goes in the cabinet.
My uncle and my grandfather both do it.
There you go.
They do. My uncle does detecting. My grandfather more does river panning.
Yep.
And like when I went to New Zealand, sorry to interrupt. I was there last year.
It's our podcast. Who are you interrupting?
Sorry to interrupt.
No, I
was interrupting you.
The yelling. Oh, yeah, I don't care.
Okay. I won't apologise next time.
Good.
My grandfather in New Zealand found a nugget, which was probably that big, I reckon.
Damn.
Like the size of a ping pong ball.
Okay.
Maybe a golf ball. I don't know.
Yeah, same size.
And he's like, it's worth $9,000.
Yeah.
And he lives at... No, I'm not kidding.
You'll find him in the big gold mansion.
The house is made of gold.
Yeah.
No, but he's he just loves it, you know.
Does he still have that gold?
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. He's got all these little jars full of flakes and stuff.
And they do.
Yeah.
They'll find a $9,000 nugget and be like, this pays for my detector.
Yeah.
There you go in the shelf.
Yeah, my grandmother's like, but we could, sell that.
So how does it pay for your detector sitting in the cabinet? No, that's not what I mean. I mean, it could pay for my detector.
Yeah.
So anyone that's sitting there when we talk about future hobbies and they go, yeah, but that one has a return.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
No.
They say that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The type of prospecting my friend does is he's got a high banker, or a sluice.
Sluice box,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, they'll go to the riverbed
Yep.
with this big contraption.
Yeah.
They'll sieve through mud and make it whatever mud they put through. And then
and they rock the box.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so the water takes all the light stuff off the top and just leaves the grit, which they then have to pan.
Yep.
And that increases their chance. It's just it goes through the process quicker.
Yeah.
So the rough costs of that are... So high bankers are anywhere from $500 to $1,500.
Yeah.
But the high bankers that are the low end $500 require you putting on some extra stuff.
Okay.
So I said roughly $1,000 to $1,500. Let's say $1,000. You buy a cheap one.
Yep.
Because you just want to dip your toes in, metaphorically. Yep. But if you want pan, tools, everything, it's $1,500. So you actually need some decent tools.
Yeah. Shovels, picks, all that sort of stuff.
So $30 a week.
Okay.
So $1,500 all up.
Yep.
$30 a week. You might go, I've heard $30 a week. Well, when I was talking about Warhammer competitive, it was $35 a week.
Okay.
So
one or the other.
You pick between. Why not both? Maybe you'll actually sell the gold you find, and then you'll be able to buy a model.
Yep. You're a model.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the amount of gold my friend has found is minimal. Yeah. I mean, it's like a bunch of flakes that if you melted it down, he'd probably sell it for a couple $100.
Yeah.
But then you got nothing in his
jars full of water.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, little specimen jars.
Yep.
So $1,500, you could either get a high banker and all the tools you need to go search for gold.
Yep.
Which is tough work.
Oh, yeah.
Hard yakka.
Yep.
Lifting buckets. You have to bring the actual giant high banker to the river.
Yep.
Find a good spot because you could just be going through water.
Yeah.
No gold in the damn river.
No.
You got to isolate. Anyways, either that or a competitive 40k army.
Yep.
So, up to you.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but what about the hours? There is no comparison between the hours of wargaming, hobby time alone.
Yeah.
Versus any of these other hobbies, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like if you sit down and look at it, and if you enjoy all aspects of the hobby, building, painting, playing, wargaming is by far the best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
That's what I feel anyway, you know.
Yeah, maybe at the scale that we do it at.
Yeah.
If we could just never buy a model again, and I feel like we would commit 4 hours a day for the next 20 years and not have everything done.
No, God, no. Not even close.
So,
but like, you know, you get an hour of building it, which if you enjoy it like I do, I find it very therapeutic actually.
Yeah.
You know, you might get 5 hours of painting it.
Painting what?
The model.
Just one model?
One model, yeah.
Yeah, if you do a good job.
If you do, you know. So there's 6 hours already. And then gaming could be endless because you've got that model for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Sure, some things disappear and go to Legends or whatever, but like the most part, you can still play with it. Yeah,
yeah.
So you'll get, I just feel you get the best bang for your buck when it comes to time of enjoyment of the hobby.
Yeah, yep. I'd agree with that. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, with all these hobbies, you've only got X amount of time, and you're going to do these with all those free hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except maybe fly fishing and gold panning, good things to start off with because they're kind of weather dependent.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. And smashing down rain, you're not going to be out there looking for gold and fly fishing.
No.
You'll be at home painting models.
Yeah. Which is not weather dependent unless you're priming in certain humidities.
So prime a bunch before when it's a good day.
Yeah. Yep.
Put it away for later.
In fact, one of our Discord users mentioned in a chat I saw him in how priming a bunch of models in advance saved him not doing any hobby because he wanted to sit down and paint and he had a primed model, and if you didn't,
wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So what else? What other hobbies? I'm curious.
Camping.
Oh man,
camping. This isn't a $50,000 caravan towed behind an $80,000 Toyota Land Cruiser.
No.
This is basically the bare necessity you need to stay alive in the wilderness.
Okay.
in the bush.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, depending on how much you really want to rough it. And if you're staying at a caravan park or in the bush, down the river, wherever, that's all going to affect the overall pricing.
Yeah, it seems like probably the one that has the biggest scale of all these things. Because hire a cabin for $60 a night and bring your own tea and biscuits.
Exactly. Sometimes tea and biscuits are provided.
Yeah.
I've aimed for a cheap camp with little to no comforts of home.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's hit it.
So, assuming you're a place with maybe like a drop toilet or you're happy with digging a hole.
Yeah.
Right. Tent. Now, you can go to Kmart, you can buy a tent for like $30. I've gone with something that'll last you more than one trip.
Yeah.
Personal experience from that.
Okay.
I've gone with a $100 tent from like Anaconda, BCF, whatever.
Yeah, nice cheap tent.
Yeah, a cheap tent. It's like a four. I think I call them 4-man, but you get 2 people in there comfortably.
Yeah.
That's going to last you a while. A camping stove, including gas cans. So for fuel, $25. That's a Kmart special.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad. Camp chair, again, Kmart have them for like $5. You'll use it once and it will just collapse on you. Kind of like when we went camping that time. Remember yours?
I do. Now I'm remembering. I didn't when you first mentioned that, but now I do.
I think, although yours was...
it was $14.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
I've gone with a $50 one. So hopefully it'll last you a little while.
Yeah.
Cooking and eating utensils. So like knives, tongs, pans, forks, plates, all that sort of stuff. I've just called it $60.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff you can get from Kmart.
Yeah.
Esky, to keep the meat drinks cold.
So say for the beers.
And beers most importantly. So you might want 2 Eskies, right?
Yeah.
One for beer, one for food.
Absolutely.
I've gone with the $65 one, which is a pretty cheap Esky, considering you can get ones for a couple $100, and then you go up into like fridge freezers and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I've gone $65 was sort of it was the best one I could find that I thought would be reasonable.
This is your recommendation for a listener at home going, well, we could do some camping.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have a testified army. I can afford camping. Now you're giving them your recommendation.
You're going to need a sleeping bag and a pillow.
Of course.
$50. Very basic.
Yeah.
Very basic. My sleeping bag was $160, but it is better than my bed. Sometimes I just sleep outside in it. No, I don't know.
Okay,
not really.
Thank God.
But I've been tempted to sometimes.
Yeah. Tempted to or forced to?
And an inflatable mattress and a hand pump. You might not want to sleep directly on the ground. You might want to pump something up. $30.
Okay.
Kmart again, right?
Yep.
So I've gone with a bit half and half. Some just stuff from Kmart, which is which is relatively cheap, but still reasonably good.
You've cheaped on the stuff you can afford to cheap on.
Exactly. Yeah. Cheaped on stuff where it doesn't really matter if you cheap on it.
Yeah.
There, we're at 380.
Okay.
So that's a basic camp setup. Doesn't include food, drinks, fuel for the car to get you there.
Yeah.
Any camp fees, like if you stay in a national park, it might cost you $15 a night or whatever.
Yeah. A lot of extras in camping.
Yeah.
Do you want a lantern to be able to see at night?
Exactly.
Do you want a power source for you charge your phone?
Phone banks. Yeah, I've just gone with enough to keep you alive.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So 380, which straight away you're like, okay, $400 to go away for a weekend. It's like I could just get a cabin for that, or a Airbnb or a motel, whatever. Yeah, you can. Though, can you do it twice? No. That's where you get your money. You get,
salesman now.
Reusability.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's why you don't cheap out on all the stuff that you don't have to cheap out on.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. But I mean, like if you went to the basics and everything, you'd probably get away with $200, I'd say.
Yeah.
If you went just cheap, just when it came out and just load up a trolley full of everything you need, I reckon you walk away with $200.
Because you're like, I go camping like once every year or two.
Yeah, and then you might, if you have no intention of going camping often, but you want to or need to for one particular reason.
Yeah.
Couple $100 would see you there.
Couple hundred.
Yeah.
So do you want to camp once every year or two?
Yeah.
On the cheap budget?
Yeah.
Or do you want a good full-size fleet of Armada? Or do you want an Infinity Army?
That's true.
There you go.
Yeah.
These are good comparisons because I feel like they have the same price ranges as some of the games, and it helps put it in perspective.
It really does. Like, because people always argue that Warhammer is so expensive, and comparing it to every other tabletop wargaming, it probably is.
Yeah.
But I mean, price is relative, right? It's like if you're a doctor and you've just got $100 bills falling out of your pocket.
Yeah, probably a doctor watching this going, when?
Yeah.
Yeah. When do I have that?
Your $10,000 metal detector is probably chump change, right? But like
you do all these hobbies, all these war games.
Yeah, you do everything, and you got time off to do it too.
Yeah.
But for others, doing it tougher or whatever, that $400 it might take you a little while to put together.
Yeah.
So you want to spend it where you can, and the best way to spend it.
Yeah. And there are some hobbies that like have such slow entries.
Yeah.
That if you went to someone and said $1,500
Yep.
for an army of competitive Warhammer, and you're gonna have to buy another one later,
Yeah.
or update it later.
Yeah.
They would just be like, "Oh, I'm not even touching that."
Nah.
Because their hobby that they do, what they spend twice as much on,
Yep.
only happens incrementally.
Yeah.
Like a weekly netball game or
Yep.
weekly football game for 6 months of the year.
That's right. Yeah, you pay your game fees and you pay your registration at the start of the year or whatever.
Yeah, and for me, it was like I'll buy my $300 helmet this year.
Yeah.
Like $300 shoulder pads next year.
Oh yeah, of course for football. Yeah.
For the foos.
For the foosball.
And then your boots, $150.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would spend more on my first 2 football seasons than I did my first 2 years of playing.
Yeah.
War games.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's an expensive sport. So.
Yeah. What was your last one? We got a minute.
Okay, well, I'll just quickly go through my last 2.
Okay.
One is the most direct comparison in my mind. It's PC gaming.
PC gaming. Yeah.
Because it's something that is such like you go buy a computer, you put a game in, and you start playing, and you can do that for hours.
Of course you can. Yeah.
It's the one that rivals dollar per minute in wargaming. But for a gaming PC, like a good one, that you can play the new titles at 60 FPS on 100 FPS.
Yeah.
You need to spend $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's because the build itself, I can make a real good computer for $1,500, but you still need to buy the monitor or 2 if you want it, the mechanical keyboard, the mouse, all your peripherals, all of them. That's not even water cooled, which you don't need at that level, anyways. And then maybe $500 for that entire year for games.
Yeah.
Because like 2 AAA titles will set you back almost $250 these days.
Oh yeah.
And then you want to buy like a $30 early access here and a $50 Steam game there.
Yeah.
So I said $2,500 for the first year, and then your residual cost is just whatever you pay for games.
Yeah.
I feel like it's similar to $40K competitive, but I mean most people do both, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Or the computer is useful for so much more than just playing games on.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Wargaming is many hobbies in one, but it's still wargaming. So.
Yeah.
What if you wanted to do something like backyard chickens, though?
Backyard chickens. That's a hobby.
It is. Yeah,
that's a hobby.
It's a hobby.
Anything you do in your spare time is a hobby, I suppose.
That's what I thought. I was like, what were my hobbies before I got into wargaming?
Grooming chickens.
Backyard chickens and PC gaming.
Look at all those chickens.
So, if you wanted to get into backyard chickens, and I highly encourage
Just love how you call it backyard. If you want to get into backyard chickens.
Well, it's different to regular chickens.
Of course it is.
Chickens are animals. Backyard chickens are a hobby that you can do in your backyard. But maybe don't do it if you've got like a bloodhound or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Unless your bloodhound is a dash hound.
Okay. Yeah.
In which case
the chicken would win.
Yeah, probably don't let the dash hound out there for the sake of the hound. Backyard chickens. $100 will get you a couple of really good chooks.
Yep.
Either two amazing looking. You go look up gold laced blue wine dot chickens. Amazing.
Okay.
Any gold laced chooks.
Yep.
2 of them for $50 each. Easy.
Yep.
Or 4 regular chooks.
Are they egg laying chooks?
All egg laying chooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there side tangent? But are there any chooks that aren't egg laying chooks?
Yes. In fact, over 50% of them aren't egg layers. They're called roosters. Thank you for tuning in to Chicken Facts with Fox. I know the irony of loving chickens so much, having the last name Fox. Now, a coop is going to set you back about $250.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Backyard, nice little cheap coop.
Roosters, man, come on. How many breeds?
No. There are some that breed better than others. If you want one of the Isa Browns, good hardy layers, cheap chooks. Next level up for real good egg layers, Australorps, which is
you talk about those daily.
That's what I have. I have
Okay.
Australorps. I only have one wine dot.
Yeah.
And I just like the quirky personality of my wine dot.
Sure.
Chook. Food's about $200 a year. It's pretty cheap.
That's
if you got
really
2 chooks. Yep.
And is that pellets?
That's pellets.
Yeah.
You throw the pellets in the thing.
And obviously you can give them like veggie scraps and that sort of stuff.
I assume you've already got veggie scraps.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you backyard chook like I used to, it's very expensive because you buy them pallets, you buy them sunflower seeds, you buy them fresh capsicum and watermelon and make contraptions on them for hot days so that like a fan blows ice water over. Anyways. That's why my chooks win shows.
Yeah. Do they?
One of them did.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. And accessories are at $50, like food and drink, but you can spend more than that. Anyway, it's about $600 or $10 a week for your first year.
Yep.
Now, those actually have a return.
Yeah.
It's not like you keep the eggs on the shelf and go, look at my eggs.
You wouldn't want it for too long.
No, that would be strange. Do the eggs pay for the chooks?
Although,
never.
You can paint eggs.
Whatever. I mean,
boil them and paint them.
Put that in your thing. Very cheap. Painting eggs.
Yeah. This one's a space marine.
No, the proxy.
Is this a Nightbringer?
It is. You just put 3 eggs on top of each other. So $600. I don't know how much you spend on eggs a year. I never worked that out. What do you reckon?
I don't know.
Depends how much you eat eggs, I guess. How long is a piece of string?
That's true. That's true.
$6 for a dozen, is it?
Mm.
You go through a dozen every 2 weeks. Do you reckon? That's.
Yeah.
So what's that? $6 every 2 weeks? Well, this costs $11.50 a week. So.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't pay for themselves.
No.
Ever. Well, I mean, maybe after 3 years.
Yeah.
They lay about 300 eggs a year per chook.
Yeah.
If you get Australorps. The point of me adding this in was just to talk about backyard chickens.
Of course it was.
It has nothing to do with anything. You would never choose this over a war game because you already have backyard chooks.
Although you could 3D print armor for chickens.
You could and
then
should
battle them.
Yeah, battle chooks.
Yeah.
Or cockfighting, which is highly illegal.
Did you know in I think it was like Mexico or somewhere, they were doing cockfighting and a chicken actually murdered a guy.
It was amazing. It was the best. Oh, it made me so happy.
I think it cut his leg and he bled out or something like that.
Something like that.
Or
It like wrestled and it cut like a artery near his groin or something. They weren't very specific, but did he deserve it? I mean,
he took a knife to the dick and balls.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
If his family are watching,
sorry,
he deserved it. Yeah, they were trying to. They wanted to make money from watching cockfights. Yep. I mean, I need to justify it.
Nope.
He deserved it. So I highly encourage everyone to get into backyard chookery.
Yeah, and don't make them fight.
Don't make them fight. They'll do that on their own. It's called a pecking order. It's brutal.
Okay.
You know what? I'm an animal lover. Just side tangent. I'm a big animal lover.
You are.
And
but little animals too.
I love chooks. What'd you say?
I said, what about little animals too?
I love all animals.
I said, you're a big animal lover.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I also love little animals. Thank you.
Gotcha.
You got me back for the rooster. And I thought owning chooks would make me not want to eat chicken.
More?
Chooks are not more. Definitely not more. Maybe a little bit less than normal.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
a little bit less.
Yeah.
I'm sad, but I still eat chicken.
Yeah.
But like every time I eat chicken, I think, so much less worse than you do to yourselves. The things that chickens, they'll just like starve each other off food.
Wow.
If one's sick, they're like, well, you're a waste of our food.
Yeah.
They'll starve it. In fact, a bunch of chickens, little baby chooks, bred at our school, and all the kids were supposed to take one home. There was one that we called Gimp Chick because it was like had a limp.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, if no one takes Gimp, because that's going to be a lot of work, I'll take Gimp. And the teacher was like, yeah, sure. Locked him up for the weekend, came back, Gimp gone.
Oh, no. Eaten?
Gimp did not make it out of the pecking order.
Oh, no.
And I was like, you know what? I've been mad at chooks ever since.
Yeah.
I've been eating double zinger stackers ever since that day.
You probably sit outside the coop and just eat it. Like, this is you.
This is what you did. Now I'm doing it. So, backyard chooks, full-grown chooks, lovely.
Yep. It's probably a good place to wrap it up there, I think.
But I've got so much more to say on the show. I've got all the different breeds, how much eggs they lay. No, you're right. That's a great place to wrap it up.
Oh, yeah. So if you've been wondering how expensive Warhammer is, it's... Wargaming, I should say. It is more expensive than backyard chooks.
Well, some of them. Well, actually, I mean, you could get 3 skirmish games or 2 backyard chooks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, hope that puts it into perspective for you.
It does.
Wargaming doesn't get you eggs, though.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
So, yes, hopefully, if you had a question about how expensive Wargaming was, what would your conclusion to this be?
My conclusion would be it's not as dear as it is made out to be. Like we said earlier, price is relative. You know, people have more or less disposable income. But as far as everything else goes, you can get into the hobby for a pretty good price.
Yeah. It just seems to be, if you had a big scale of hobbies, with drawing down this end, and bloody fishing, bass fishing on an ocean boat.
Marlin fishing,
Yeah, or marlin fishing.
Yep.
I can't think of anything more expensive because fishing's in my brain. Collecting rare, whatever.
Yep.
I feel like wargaming just occupies this middle space with a bit down the low end, a bit down the high to medium.
Yeah. Obviously, it can cost a lot of money if you're trying to do meta stuff, but it can also be pretty cheap if you're just trying to get in and throw dice.
Yeah. I guess the only thing that would make it expensive is its addictive properties.
Yep.
Similar to...
New releases every week.
Collecting cards.
Yeah.
It's exactly... I feel like its price range is the same as if you're playing a TCG game collectively, competitively.
Yep.
You want to play in tournaments, new cards come out. They literally, unlike wargaming, they literally have a rotation in competitive games where it's like the newest set and the 2 oldest sets after that.
Yeah.
And then it moves when a new set's released for a lot of the games.
So you can't use cards that are 3 sets old.
Correct. They usually have like a legacy mode in games where you can use any cards.
Yeah.
The actual competitive play takes place on the recent sets.
Damn. So
plus a core set usually.
Yeah. You're buying new sets every season or every...
Not only that,
however often.
But even if they didn't do that, a lot of games will have this thing called power creep. So a new set comes out, it's inherently stronger with its new rules.
Yeah. You see that in video games too, like World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
Exactly.
New expansion comes out or new content comes out. All the new stuff has to be better than all the old stuff.
Yeah.
So otherwise, you'd be like, why? If it's the same.
At least with wargaming, although some companies bake that into the game anyways. They bring out a new thing, be like, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, it just happens to be the most competitive unit?
Yeah.
I didn't know. How do we know? We just sell them
What a coincidence.
Yeah. But at least you can use any models.
Yeah.
You're not limited. It's not like, hey, you can only buy releases from the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to you.
Yeah.
This whole episode was a cop-out. It's up to you.
You do you, fam.
You do you.
Yeah.
You'll decide. If you want to buy it, it wasn't too expensive.
No.
If you don't, probably was.
Mm-hmm. Good choice.
God, I could have just said that like an hour ago.
Yeah, we've saved them like at least... I mean, the laptop died, so I don't even know how long we've been going for anymore.
Laptop died, beers are empty. So
it's been at least 3 hours.
Stay tuned next week. New episodes every Sunday. Next Sunday's ep will be about an RPG we've been playing in the Discord.
Yeah, we've been hitting RPGs a little bit, not much.
A little squiddle.
Yeah. Yep. That's spicy. Looking forward to talking about that.
One of our users has been running a Star Wars RPG. We've kind of temporarily paused it so we can start a new one. So we thought it'll be a good time to summarize Act 1 and all the adventures we got up to.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds awesome.
Cool.
Yep. And we've got giveaways, painting competitions.
All that kind of stuff.
Discord.
All that's on the Facebook, Discord. Just email us at hobbyhomies@gmail.com.
No one does that.
No one does that. We really want an email from someone.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hey, guys. No, I don't know.
Just blow some dust out of the old email box.
That was the dust going everywhere.
Yeah, so check out our giveaways on Facebook. Painting competition, still got time for that. Still a month or so to go.
Yeah, and you only have to paint one model for it, so that's nice.
Yeah, yep.
So check out the deets.
Yep. And a big thanks to our patrons.
Always.
Yep. We've got Burnsy, Whack, Final Dinosaur, Foggy Highway, Joey P, Lockie, MJ, Lethal, Moose,
Elko, Arkham, Caitlin, Dave, Churchy, who's not here, so we can probably safely not thank him. Rad, Oliver, Hockers, Tricky, and Aggro. That's it.
Can't do it without you guys. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Literally can't do it without you guys.
No.
Peace.
Hooroo. Oh, we have to go to...
Yeah.